Hey there friends, it's Cassie. Welcome back for another Brutus Monroe video. Today we're going to be making another Slimline card, so let's talk about what we're using. We have the Butterfly Sentiment stamp set, and we're going to be pairing that up with some Raven Detail ink. We also are going to be focusing on some of the Velveteen Glaze, and then we have this cool stencil called the Star Dome. I've got my panel cut down out of some whitewash cardstock, so let's go ahead and get making this. I'm going to use some Pixie Spray because this is a fairly intricate stencil. So I'll take this outside, make sure you're in a ventilated area. I'll spray the back of that, kind of let that dry a bit. And then when that is dry, it'll be ready to tack down to the front of my panel. So I have my panel cut down to, I want to say this is about 8 inches maybe, or 8¼ inches by 3½, maybe not even quite 3½. So I'm not 100% sure what it is, but we're just tacked that down to the front of our card panel, and we're going to use a blending brush and blend some of our Sike ink over the front of that stencil. We're not going to move the stencil yet because I want to do some more with some of the Velveteen Glaze. And if you've never used this stuff before, it looks an awful lot like chroma glaze in the jar. It's nice and creamy and shiny and just beautiful. And this is the color Pink Flamingo, and all I'm going to do is just kind of scrape this along the bottom and on the top. I don't want it to be a perfect application. I kind of want it to be a little messy because I want it to look like, I don't know, I just want it to be a little bit messy. So we're going to go with that. I'll close up my jar nice and tight and make sure that I have an even blend. And then when I'm happy with that, I'll remove the stencil, and you'll see that the pixie dust worked really, really well. And it, in the light, because it's wet, looks wet, and it looks like how chroma glaze usually dries, which that's a pretty cool product too. But this is going to dry differently. I have some alcohol marker cardstock, and I'm going to stamp one of the butterflies 3 times onto this cardstock using some of that Raven Detail ink. This is perfect for alcohol marker coloring. And then I'll stamp the U right there on it, and it stamps beautifully. Didn't even need my stamp positioner this time. And then I'm also going to put the tiny word thank. So I'll have thank you. It seems like I just don't have enough thank yous right now, so I need to crack down on making those. I do apologize that I didn't zoom in, but this is some very simple Copic coloring. I have the color BG45, and I'm going to put a wash of that over all 3 of my butterflies. Like I said, super, super simple Copic coloring. And I think that's why I like butterflies, because you can do this blend of colors very easily, and it's, I don't know, they seem like a forgiving, at least every time I color them, I feel like it's a very forgiving image. So now that that wash is down, I'll grab out some BG07, and I'm going to just flick that inward from all of the edges of these butterflies. And it's pretty dark, and it's dark right now, very contrasting, but we're going to come back in with that BG45, and we will blend that out just a little bit. So just using those flicking motions, we can blend that color pretty nicely. And then you still have that dark, deep color on the edges, and then you've got your lighter turquoise in the center. I will fussy cut these out, and I even fussy cut out the word U. It just looks so cool cut out like that. And I'm using my Brutus Monroe scissors, and I don't mind fussy cutting. I know several of you just don't like it, but it is what it is, right? Sometimes we have to do it. I've grabbed my heat tool, and I am going to very carefully dry my Velveteen Glaze. Now I have my heat gun on the lowest setting possible, and I just keep moving that heat gun. My cardstock was cut down to 7 inches by 8½ inches, and I scored that at 3½ inches. And then that's going to be the base for my Slimline card. And once again, I used whitewash cardstock for that. And you'll notice that I have a little white border around my panel. I do want to decorate the inside, so I'm going to grab the word U again, and I'll ink that up once again with the Raven Detail ink. And we'll stamp that down in the center-ish. And then we'll clean that off, put that away, and we're going to grab the other sentiment that is, I think it says, are awesome. So it'll be you are awesome, or amazing. And I like this set for that reason. You've got lots of options. And then I'll glue down one of the little butterflies to the inside next to you. And then we'll close that up, use our bone folder to make sure that that is nice and creased. And then we'll use our liquid glue to adhere down our panel to our card base. You could pop this up with foam tape if you wanted to, but I decided to leave that a little bit low key because I am going to use some foam tape on my words and my butterflies for the outside. So I'm just cutting that down. This is some of that Brutus Monroe foam tape. This is the black foam tape. Love this stuff. And so I'm just putting that all across all my pieces. And I only put it on the centers of my butterflies, as you can see. I didn't put it all over the butterfly. This way, if I really want to like take their wings and form them a little bit, I can do that still. So I'm also using a, that is a craft pick. That's the retractable craft pick by Ranger. And that is in the store as well, in the Brutus Monroe store. So I'll tack that down, and then I'll peel off the paper on Thank, and I'll stick that above You. So now I've thankfully got another thank you. And then I'll peel off the release paper on my little butterflies, and we'll tack those down around the outside. I thought about putting them in the centers of the little star domes, but I thought that this just looked pretty good too, so we stuck with this. And so now that those are attached, that's actually going to finish off our card. And that Velveteen Glaze dries with a matte finish. It almost has a velvet feel to it. It's really cool. Go check it out. So if you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already done so. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.